Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. First things first guys, lots of you are viewing my videos. Please subscribe. I'd really appreciate those subscriptions. Please like, please share. I'm back again today just to talk more on my journey on relocating to Ireland. So I'm just going to talk about the visa application, and the time I came we had to quarantine, so I'm just going to go through that and just explain a few things. So as usual, I've jotted things down so that I don't forget. So the visa application process basically is, once you get the heads up from your agent or your employer to apply for the visa, it means you've got all the documentation from their side. So now you go online and you search Ireland online visa application. If I'm not mistaken, it says AVATS, and then you do your application online and then put in all the information that they want. I remember they'll ask even about your dependents, because this is information I think they'll probably use once again when you're now applying for your dependents to come and join you in Ireland. So you do the online application and then you do the visa application fee is €60. So you do an electronic funds transfer, and for us in Zimbabwe we had to get someone, like it's an FNB account, so you had to get someone in South Africa who can do that for you and then sends you the proof of payment, and then you submit the relevant documents. So once you're done with the online application, it's going to tell you that okay, now there's a form that will come out, like an application summary that you sign. That form, your EFT or electronic transfer proof of payment, and your supporting documents, they'll tell you which documents they want. You send them. So the proper way is to go through the embassy in Harare. But when I did my application, no one tells you this stuff. I was just told, once you're done with the online application and you've paid you have your proof of payment, send your documents via FedEx or DHL. And that's exactly what I did. And the next thing, I got an email to go and get my visa put on my passport in Harare. So when I got there, the lady there said to me the proper procedure is to go through her. But I've heard of a few people who just send their documents directly to Pretoria, to the consular, the embassy, to the Embassy of Ireland in Pretoria, and they still get their visas just the same way I did. Though, so it's up to you, like whatever is more convenient for you. Because I think the other challenge was it's easier for people who are in and around Harare to just go to the embassy in Harare. But maybe for us, I was in Bulawayo, it was more convenient to just send the documents via FedEx. So anyway, once it's out, like maybe in 2 to 3 weeks or whatever, however long it takes, or if there's anything that they require more, they'll email you. So after 3 weeks, I received an email that my visa was out and I can go and collect it in Harare. Then once they say that, you need to then communicate with the Embassy of Harare, because they've got days where they give out the visas, or their holidays and all that. So you just need to communicate, because if you're far, for example, I was in Bulawayo and you just decide, let me go and collect my visa, when you get there it might not be the day that they're giving out those visas. So you just communicate with there's a lady in charge there. You need to communicate with her and agree on the date, or she'll tell you when to come. But I'm sure there's a day, I'm not sure if it's Tuesday, but there's a specific day that you go and you collect your visa. Then after that, flights, I've gotten a lot of questions about this. Flights, guys, it's like I say, this is my experience. It's entirely up to you. I used Ethiopian Airlines mainly because it allowed more luggage. I thought I needed all the luggage, but actually, like I said in my previous video, you don't have to carry that much. So it's all up to you. I know of people who used Qatar. I know of people who used Emirates. I used Ethiopian Airlines. I left from the Victoria Falls Airport on a Saturday. I remember it was 1 p.m. I went via Botswana, and then the stopover was Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. We were there like 9:30 p.m. and then we left 11:40 p.m. Arrived in Germany, in Frankfurt, Germany, the following morning at about 5:30, and then from Germany I left at 9:30, and I was in Ireland at Dublin Airport in Ireland at about 10:58. That's the time. So it was like 23 hours all in all. So there'll be stopovers, but you know how it is, like when you're traveling from Africa to this side, you're gaining time or whatever, there's a difference in hours. But anyway, when I calculated at that time, if I remember well, it was like a 23-hour journey. You have a few breaks, and yeah. And at that time, you know, COVID was rife, so you have to make sure you have your masks on, precautionary measures, your sanitizers, and all. And I remember even a colleague told me that make sure you, when you go into the toilet in the plane, don't hold the knobs, like the doorknobs, with your bare hands. Like use the tissue, because apparently there are some people who, when they got to Ireland, just tested positive, but when they left home they were negative. So you know, it's probably something that they caught on the way. So just to be careful, you can take all those precautionary measures. Don't touch things unnecessarily, or carry a sanitizer with you. If you're going to go into the toilet, you can use a tissue to, when you're coming out, when you've washed your hands, the tissue that you dry your hands with, just use it to open the door and come out. You know, just minimize contact with surfaces and all. So yeah, so my flight price was 633, and this differs, guys. Like I can't say that's the price right now. It depends on the time of the year and a whole lot of things. So you really need to just check online and see, like, for the time that you want to come, how much the flight is going to be. But at the time that, or the flight that I came with was 633 US, which was refunded, like I said before. And then, so the other thing is, once you get your flight reservation, you send it to your agent so that they can use it to, you know, like I said, book your quarantines and all. So you send them the itinerary, and then they'll confirm receipt. So as you go, like I said, every stage, you need to be in communication with your agent. You need to be giving them this information, because if you delay, then it delays most of your stuff. So once I sent the itinerary, the next thing I got was my mandatory quarantine hotel confirmation letter that stated when I was booked, like the which day I was supposed to arrive and how long I was supposed to stay there. And I remember for us at the time, we as healthcare workers, we had to stay for 15 nights, even though everyone else could stay for 10 nights, if I'm not mistaken. And then, oh, another thing, make sure you fill in what's called a passenger locator form before you leave. When you get here, like, you get a confirmation. I think it's just a tracker form because of COVID. So when you get here, they'll ask to see it. So when you complete it and get the confirmation, you'll get like a copy. And then when you get here, when you're doing your immigration and all, they'll ask for that form. And then as well, okay, yeah, so I said our quarantine was 15 nights for healthcare workers, and for everyone else it was 12 nights. That was the difference. I'm not really aware if people are still quarantining at the moment. That it's, you know, at our time, that's we quarantined. I don't know, like, you would have to find out and make sure you do the right thing according to whether you're quarantining or not. And then when you arrive at the hotel, then your agent would expect you to send them your room number and the hotel, because we were kind of randomly put. I remember when we came, we were about 10 of us, I think. We were in different hotels. Like, you're not going to all go to the same hotel, and you're not even going to know each other probably, unless, like, I only got to know of the other guys because we were on a WhatsApp group where we were studying together. So then we could communicate. I'm in this hotel, I'm in this hotel, I'm in this hotel. So when you get to the hotel that you're staying at, you need to inform your agent as well that I'm staying at this hotel, my room number is this. Your agent will send you a SIM card. And once you receive that SIM card as well, then you send them your number so that it makes it easier to communicate with her, him or her or whatever, about everything that's going on. And then also, when I got here, we were tested like the day after. You have to do your you have to do your PCR test 72 hours before your arrival, and then when you get here the day after, you're tested. And then on day 10 as well, you're tested, and once you're cleared, then you're fine. So also, I remember before I came, I got an email to make sure that I bring, like, necessary meds, like your paracetamols and all. So what I did was to just get, like, you know, I think it was in case you got COVID, you need that kind of stuff, painkillers and all. So and there wouldn't be anywhere to get it because you're in quarantine. So you make sure you bring the relevant meds. If you are with someone with chronic diseases or anything like that, make sure you have enough. And yeah, that was my experience. I'm not really sure, honestly, guys, if healthcare workers are still quarantining at the moment. I tried to check, but I didn't get that information. So just make sure you know what exactly is expected of you when you arrive. So then, and then with the luggage, once again, I said I chose Ethiopian Airlines because it allowed me to carry more luggage. But luggage all depends on the airline that you're using. Some limit you. So make sure you know how much you are required to carry. And I remember I think Ethiopian Airlines gives you the most allowance, but at the same time I even paid extra. So I realized later that it wasn't even worth it. Half the things that I brought, I didn't really need them and I didn't use them. So just make sure you know that information as well, and weigh your bag. I remember I went to Vifor's airport the previous day and weighed my bag, and I knew the day when I was going to board the flight that I had to pay extra. And also they'll make you join some app where you get like bonus points and they'll give you a discount on luggage. I don't know if they're still doing that, but that's what happened when I was coming. And then also, so when you're checking in and all, they want the proof of your negative COVID test. And yeah, that's it. So after quarantine, we went to a place called, I think that's where everyone goes in Dublin, a place called Shannon Square. That's where I was staying. But everyone goes to Shannon Hall, but Shannon Hall was full at the time. So Shannon Square is just next door. And I paid for 6 nights, and 6 nights was €240, and those were the 6 nights before my RCSI exam. So sometimes if you like, when your agent or your employer will send you dates that, okay, make sure you're here by this date latest, so you can work it out. If you want to save money, like, you can work around it, that your quarantine, once you're out of quarantine, maybe you'll have 1 day or 2 days before the exam, so that you don't pay much. So you see, I had like 6 days before the exam after quarantine, and I paid €240. So if you're going to do quarantine and then go to Shannon Square, make sure the time between the quarantine and Shannon and RCSI exam is like a day or two, so that you don't pay much. Or if you're not quarantining anymore, and then make sure then that you come maybe 2-3 days before if you want to save. But for me, I didn't have a problem with it because it gave me time to study with my other counterparts. We had lots of time to study together, to practice the practicals for the exam and help each other out. That's why I opted to come a bit earlier and have a few days before the exam. So really, it's up to you once again. So yeah, that's all about the visa application, about the airline I used. And also, don't forget, passenger locator form is very important. Make sure you fill it out and complete it before you leave your respective country or home. So I hope I answered a few questions today. I'll come back with a more detailed video on the RCSI, the reason why they want us to do it, what it is. I think I didn't know what it was till I actually did it, and I didn't understand why I had to do it. But I'll enlighten you more, and then if you've got any questions or anything, just comment down below. So please like, please subscribe, and please share my videos. Thank you. So then the journey began, guys. I left from the Victoria Falls airport and I went via Botswana on the Ethiopian Airways. I had to get a little bit of wine just to take the edge off, to chase the fears and not to cry. It was lovely being in the sky, as always, with anticipation of what was to come. So I went via Ethiopia and Germany, and then finally arrived in the Republic of Ireland.
Welcome to Dublin Airport, ladies and gentlemen. Local time is 10:38 a.m. Please remain seated until we have reached our final parking position. And then please take care when opening the bins above your seats in order to avoid any objects falling out. And double check the seat pockets in front of you for any personal items. Flight Captain Doves and his crew, we would like to thank you for having chosen this Lufthansa CityLine and Star Alliance.
So that was the hotel room I stayed in for my 2 weeks quarantine. These are some of the meals I had while there. And one thing you should know, one of the staple foods here is potatoes. So we had soup with a lot of potatoes, we had mashed potato, we had baked potato, with all types of potato. Lots of studying for the exam. I started working out again because the kilos were piling on, but I was still eating, as you can see, potato again. And that was me gaining weight. And then quarantine was almost over and I was lighter in complexion. And once it was done, I was on my way to Dublin, Shano and Hull for the preps, the final preps for the RCSI exam. And that's the wonderful crew that I was with the whole time. And then I arrived in my county, and that's my room, and that was probably the first day at work. And the beautiful view you see there is the view from my workplace.